Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're getting all set up. All right. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 2 of the Remarkable Shift live series show, where elite identity meets elevated execution. So, this isn't just another leadership or personal development podcast. This is the platform where visionaries, trailblazers, and power players come to recalibrate their identity, amplify their voice, and dominate their industry with clarity, conviction, and class. I don't just develop leaders, I activate legacy. So if you're ready to command your space, embody your brilliance, and build something beyond a brand, let's shift remarkably. So, again, welcome to season 2. I'm your host, Dr. V. And if you made it here, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining me. And that means you have likely done something right if I've come across your feed and because I know that this is going to resonate with you. So the people that I tend to attract, that means they have, and which I'm talking about you've built a career, you've built a reputation, and you probably even have some legacy building things already in progress. So these are not just, newbies just getting started out. You've done some things. And so you know how to deliver results. You know how to get things done. You know how to make things happen. And you actually lead others in some form of capacity. And it may not always just be with your professional space, whether it's your own business or if you're working in a career, but you lead in your community, in your family, in your social circle. So you know how to get things up and running. But I also know that you tend to do these things when your own personal tank is running low. And so I don't want you to just stay in that space. And I know, like, even though you've done some amazing things in your life, there's still something in your head that's whispering. And look, we're coming in season 2 hot. So, just get ready. But just be honest with me and let me know if some of these things have come across your mind. Some of these things, like, you may have stayed up all night thinking about it, or you find yourself daydreaming about it, or you've written about it, somewhere in your journals. But there's a small voice somewhere that's saying, I you're asking yourself, do I have to leave everything behind to step into this new version of myself that I keep dreaming about? Are you asking yourself, what if I meant for more, but I don't even know where to begin? Or what about, how can I own more of my brilliance without feeling like I'm faking it? So if you haven't said those exact words, let me know what you're actually saying. And then also let me know if these are resonating with you. And if those things are resonating with you, those are the exact things that we're going to unpack in this first episode of season 2. So let's talk about the myth of reinvention. Now, I love reinvention. I have a coach that I've worked with reinvention about. And then so this is kind of focusing, tapping into some of my personal work and my understanding of reinvention, because I used to think one way and now I've totally shifted that way of thinking. So I used to think that I had to burn everything down and just start over, but that's the myth of reinvention. That is not what true reinvention means. You don't have to burn it all down to start something new. So the myth is that reinvention requires this dramatic exit, this public pivot, like we've seen those posts, right? Or a 180-degree career shift, and all that thinking is outdated and it is actually harmful to you. You want to know why? Because your brilliance is not broken. It is actually buried beneath expectations, obligations, and going into the grind. So let that sink in for a minute. If you've been thinking about, oh, I need to reinvent myself, I need to totally disregard everything that I've built over the last 10, 20, or even 30 plus years, that is not true. So this season isn't about starting over, whether that's you're in this season looking at this new quarter, or you just decided, like, today is the day I'm going to make new season. I'm making that decision. This is my new season starting today. It doesn't have to be a literal calendar new season. And so this isn't about starting over. It is about starting deeper. Let me say that again. Again, this is not about starting over. It is about starting deeper. And that means anchoring in to the truth of who you are, who who you are, who you're becoming, what you already carry, and where you can make the greatest impact with what you already have. Because what if the very thing that you're running away from, whether it's your job, and I know a lot of you are like, I hate my job, I want to run away from it. Wait a minute. But what if that thing, your job, your experience, your current life, is actually the foundation of the ecosystem and the economy you are meant to build? That is something that we talk about in deep level coaching. Like, so many people are running away from things, but what if you reframe that and say, let me go run towards this very thing and see how it can contribute to where I want to go in the future? So I want you to understand that authority is not a department, right? It is not, a title. It is actually a decision. So you don't need a new title to be a thought leader. You don't need a stage to be influential, because you are the brand, you are the voice, and you are the value. So let me say that again. You don't need all of these external things to be an authority. Why? Because you are the brand, you are the voice, and you are the value. So authority isn't just something that's professional, it is personal. And we're going to take a deeper dive into all of that this season. We touched a little bit on it last season, but we're really going full speed ahead this season, because it shows up in how you make decisions. It shows up in how you manage your energy, and it shows up in how you engage with the people you say you love, but the people you love, and how you walk into any room, whether that's in a physical room or even still in virtual, rooms. So here's the shift that I want you all to take hold of. When you amplify your authority in every area of your life, remember it's about like 18 plus areas of your life that you can amplify your authority. That is not just creating something on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or, wherever you can post a title. That is not authority. It is when you amplify it in every areas of your life, your authority starts coming out. So it is well beyond your positions, titles, and your degrees. So we're going to talk a lot about that this season. The main focus will be talking about brilliance beyond boardrooms. Now, you might be saying, well, Dr. B, I'm not in the corporate space, but whatever your version of a boardroom is, we're talking brilliance beyond that, because the world needs more than your experience. It needs the very essence of who you are at your core. And I know you're going to hear a lot about people saying, monetize your experience and your expertise. I have a version of that, which is the newest and latest project that I'm working on. You can come and build down below, but it's beyond that. And I want to get people to see beyond that, because when you're only focusing on just your expertise, that's where your identity becomes wrapped into it. And then the moment that someone doesn't like your expertise or says something about your expertise, you crumble. So let's focus on how to build up our essence and let that be the driving force behind everything that we do. So I'm going to share this with you as I was coming up with this episode. Well, actually, this entire season, I have it all mapped out. That's the educator side of me. And I came up with this reframe. I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, okay, let's run with it. So this is the Birkin season reframe. So if you're familiar with the brand 𝐓𝐨𝐲𝐵, and they have the Birkin bag. Now, this isn't about me telling you to go get a Birkin bag, but I want you to understand kind of the thinking behind it. So just take a little trip with me and follow along. This is not just about being materialistic or anything like that, but it's just the mind shifting that I want you to explore. So I'm going to set the stage for you. All right. So, I love a good luxury metaphor. If you don't know, just go watch some of my previous old videos and things like that. I'm always talking about something luxury related, because transformation doesn't have to be tragic. I've experienced that personally, where I've done all the deep work, and and honestly, while the deep work is important, if you don't know how to really use it in the right way, you'll find yourself like constantly like in the mud and in the dark, in the deep shadows, just constantly working. And it's like we don't have time for that, right? There's a time and a place for the deep work, and then knowing how to use it strategically so it doesn't have to be tragic. So sometimes, let's think about this. You're not ready for the $30,000 Birkin, and we know that those numbers can get up there, right? But let's say you walk into the store and you get one of their signature scarves, or you get the iconic bracelet. And when you do that, there's like this sense of renewed power that you have. Now, it may not be Birkin for you. It can be whatever your version of something that's luxury in your experience. You may want the top of the line, kitchen appliance. I don't know what's kitchen, like the Wolf range stove. I think that's like up there. It's another one. I can't think of the name, but it's really up there. And you walk in there and you see it, and you're like, you know what? I may not be ready for this Wolf range, but let me go ahead and get like some of these pots. Either way, you walk into that store, you get the smaller version of it, but you still have that same sense of renewed power. And that's the reframe I want you to have. So I'm going to use Birkin. You use your version of luxury reframe. So this is how this season works. So you're here because you want a life that looks good on the inside, just like it does on the outside. Or we can say it the other way. You want a life that looks good on the outside and also feels good on the inside. We don't want any more double agent secret lives, where, I feel really good on the inside, but my outside is not matching up, or I build this, facade of a life and it's not connecting with me on the inside. We want both. You want to be able to feel that. And even if, like I said, it's not the actual dream life that you want, it's still on the inside of you. And that's where we want to have that shift. And so I want you to know that you can have both of them, but you have to know that you're brilliant without needing any permission. And we hear that a lot, but I want to know if you're actually giving yourself the permission to be brilliant. You want to have the premium piece, not just more productivity. So as I'm going through all of this and talking about your authority and, amplifying your essence and things like that, we're not talking just about productivity hacks and things like that. We are talking about having premium peace, which is something that money literally cannot buy, but you can put things in place to make sure that you can get that. So I want you to listen, because some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about fake it till you make it. No, this isn't about faking the funk or dressing up dysfunction. A lot of us have been there, done that. We know how to do that well. And a lot of us can teach courses on how to do that, right? We don't want to do that anymore. This is not the time for us to operate like that. But this is about giving yourself access to a different level of living. It is one that isn't built on burnout or breakdowns or begging for someone to see your value. That season is over with. And this is also that the season where we're not waiting for gatekeepers. You want to know why we're not waiting for those gatekeepers? Because we are the standard. You are the standard. So no more waiting. You are the standard. And they're going to talk about this inner dialogue that you're probably not saying out loud, but is going on in your head. So let me know again if this is resonating with you. You're probably saying that you're tired, you're burned out, you're overwhelmed. And if you look on a lot of these social media platforms and a lot of these coaches and consultants, they're saying that. They're saying, like, are you tired? Are you burned out? Are you overwhelmed? And you're like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. But deep down, and your spirit is actually saying, but I'm powerful though, but I get to have it all, right? Or I was created to pour out my brilliance, not bearing it. I was meant for more. Like I get to do these things. I'm a pretty, I'm that girl. I'm that guy, right? So your spirit knows it, but the up here in your head is always about, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. So there's a conflict or disconnect that's happening. So I want to talk to the inner voice, that deep knowing, because a lot of you know that you are powerful and meant for more, and you're not tapping into that because you're only tapping into that surface level of frustration, burnout, and overwhelm. And I'm not discounting those things, but the conflict is that's inside of you is actually what the world sees and what people actually feel from you. And I know that from personal experience, because you are the go-to person. and you are the one that everyone counts on, and you wear the cape and you actually play the role. But this is a time where we need to shift. So people can feel that, but they're like, well, you say that you're burned out and overwhelmed and frustrated, but you're still showing up as the go-to person. I don't know which one it truly is, but I'm going to focus on the one that benefits me. And the one that benefits people is the one where you show up and wear your super cape. Let me know if you're tracking with me, because they can still see the disconnect, but they're going to go to the one that benefits them, and that's going to constantly lead you to more frustration, burnout, and overwhelm, and things like that. So why not tap into that true power and essence that you have? So we're going to do that not by quitting everything. And I know some people say, oh, just quit, quiet quit, don't do this and that, but you don't have to quit everything, because there are some things that you actually still love to do, but you're going to question the things that no longer align. That's different. That's like smart quitting, right? You're not just quitting everything and running away and shutting everything down. You're saying, well, what no longer serves me? What do I need to really take off my plate? Because this is why I'm feeling the way I feel. And you're taking things off the plate. You're not just throwing everything, in the trash. So we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about in this season a lot is alignment over ambition. Yes, I said it because I am truly ambitious. I attract ambitious people. I even have a space where I say your ambition is welcome. But in this season, we're going to talk about the alignment over ambition, power over panic, and calling over clout. Very different things. A lot of people are clout chasing, but they're not aligning with their calling. So this is the season for the 1% life. Now, this isn't just about, wealth, or money. So just, take that off. And if that's where your go-to is and you have some kind of feeling, we need to work through that, right? If that bothers you when you hear something like 1% life and it's a little cringe to you, there's some things we probably need to work on. But this season of the show, this isn't just about a podcast or another video. It is like a portal, and nothing like spooky or anything like that. It is like a permission slip, and it is a power seat. So it is your reminder to understand that you don't have to choose between money, mission, mindset, self worth, and rest. Let me say that again. This is the season where you don't have to choose between money, mission, mindset, self worth, and rest. You get to create a full life, not just a full calendar. Very different things. You can have all the things on your calendar, like, yeah, I'm living life. No, you're still out of alignment and empty. And that's where you're burning out and overwhelmed and all of that. But if you have a full life, then all of those things are coming because the rest is still in there. You understand your self-worth, you still have income, you are higher level thinking, you're vibing high, all of those things. You're doing what you're supposed to do as you were created to do, not just putting a bunch of to do things or just having this image of look at my full calendar. And so you don't have to earn your way into that life of pain, of a life with pain, perfectionism, or performance. A lot of us know how to work through all of that. And sometimes, we wear that as a badge of honor, but we're no longer doing that in this season. So this is your Birkin season, or insert your luxury version, not because of what you wear. And I want to be very clear, because I know a lot of us like a look. I know a lot of us like a lifestyle, which is cool. I love that for you. I love that for me. I love that if that's what you want to do. But this is going beyond the look. This is going beyond what you wear, because it's not what you wear, it's actually what you carry with yourself. And so in my mind, because a lot of people say like the Birkin bag is a standard, whether you like it or not, you can't deny the image, the image it carries, or the status that it carries. So let's think about that reframe. Like, it's not just the actual bag itself, is what brings along with that. So I want you to understand that it's not about what you put on the external anymore. It is not what you post up and showcase to the world anymore. It is really about what you carry, and what you carry is your essence. And that is the true way that you're going to amplify your authority. So I am excited because I have been working on something. Some of you seen bits and pieces of it. Of the new project I'm doing is a systematic way to build your authority and enhance your power with the essential tools you need to either reboot, restart, or refocus. So comment the word build down below so that you can get dibs on the first access. So if you're like, yeah, I want to know more about it, let me get on the wait list, some behind the scene things, comment the word bill down below so that you can get, into it. I had something like this that was on a really big scale, but I was like, what would people want to do right now for a quick win, for that reboost, that recharge, to really regain your confidence and your certainty, to make sure that you're on the right track, or just to give you back, that sense of power and confidence. So I created that, and I will be sharing more about that invitation throughout this week and next week. So comment the word bill down below. If you're watching this after the fact, then it'll probably already be up and running and you can and join in. So I'm excited about that. Stay tuned. And so this was just an intro to how this season is going to go. And I am looking forward to seeing all of your brilliance show up and show out as we move into this brilliant year and this brilliant season of your life. So I want you to know, as we wrap up this episode, is that your shift isn't optional. It is overdue. I call this whole show The Remarkable Shift for a reason, but in this season, your shift isn't optional. It is overdue. You're not here to play catch up. I know you're not here to play catch up. You are here to claim what's already yours. This is not about naming it and claiming it. God has already built you with a pathway. So now you just need to claim that pathway and get aligned to it and carry that out. So if this episode sparks something in you, don't just sit with it. I want you to move with it, right? So your power is in the application, not just in the listening. So stay remarkable, and I will see you in the next shift. Now, come back later today, or you can come back and watch the replay on, I think I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. We'll see. But check both platforms, because later today I'm doing something new this season where I'm doing an after hours version of the show where we're going to take a deeper dive into some of these topics. And the first one I am going to do out in the public so you can get like an understanding or a little sneak peek or preview into what we're going to do. And then I'm only going to do it in the private space for those of you who subscribe to the show. It'll be for free, but it'll be behind the stage to where you can actually interact and have a dialogue and, work through some things and talk through some things without being out there, because I know like people still see you as brilliant, but I want you to have a space where you can, take that cape off, take that mask off, and still know that you can still be brilliant and have breakdowns. You can still be confident in your chaos. That doesn't take anything away from you. So we're going behind the scenes, we're going after hours to work through some things, and then that way you can still show up as powerful as you've always been. All right, so stay tuned. I will probably it'll be later today. It'll be out there for you to see it, and then those of you who subscribe to the show, you'll be invited to come off the platform into a private space where we can share after hours. All right, thank you so much for listening, learning with me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.